Morning all. How are you all doing? Morning Andy, morning Peter, Jason, Franco. How's everybody doing? Got a little sell on the DAX, which had just taken pre-market. Started to sell off. I've got it at break even, so I'm probably going to stop out on it. But started to sell off, broke that low. So I was just looking to see if we could get. We've had a big, strong push. So I was just seeing if we can get a move down from there. But it looks like it's been supported at the MAs. So just a quick punt before the open, really. I've got 0.2% on it, but I'm just going to let it run. Morning, Diamond. Let's have a quick look at news this morning before we get going. So today we've got CAD unemployment change at 1:30, and then we've got UOM at 3 o'clock. So basically nothing much this morning at all until we get to CAD. And it's only CAD news today, so everything else is sort of business as normal. Morning, Stevie. So basically no real news that's going to affect the market apart from the Canadian dollar today. We've got no news overnight, nothing that's been to do with Russia or Ukraine, so all business as usual there, apart from poor old Roman Abramovich. I feel so sorry for these billionaires. Having all of his money frozen and his football club taken away. So nothing much to report basically at the moment. I might just close. I don't know. Shall I leave it? I'll just leave it. See what happens. We've got 5 minutes to the open. If we get a nice pop out down to the bottom, it'd be very nice. Overnight stuff. Not a massive movement in Asia on anything really. Have I got the price action toolkit on there? Don't need that on there. Take that off. Any magic on that. So nothing much overnight. Oh, God's sake. MT4, when I switch charts, why do you not stay on the same chart? So annoying. As you can see, nothing much. Let's look at the hourlies. Nothing much overnight in Asia on anything in particular. Aussies have not had a bad. Well, I say yen's rather. Yen's been weak overnight in Asia, but that's all starting to reverse now. Euro's not really done a lot, just still central in Asian range. The pound, same Central Asian range, had a big drop on that, straight down into this propulsion gap out of that move, which is being bought up this morning a little, but wouldn't necessarily think it's going up this morning. We'll see. New Zealand's central, nothing really going on there, and US dollar. So nothing overnight. Oil. Got stopped out of my oil trades yesterday. I'm not trading this anymore. I've given up with oil. Doesn't like me. Every trade I take that starts to take off just gets stopped out. So I'm not bothering with it anymore. I still think it's probably going to scream up to the top, but good luck timing it. Can't be bothered. Don't trade it. So gold, again, we've sat back into this accumulation period. We sat here and accumulated before we pushed. Decided we didn't fancy it. We haven't gone anywhere. So still looking longs on this. I'd still be looking longs on oil at the moment as well. But I don't trade those two because I just never have any luck with them. But yeah, long there. What's the time? Got 2 minutes. Quickly whiz through the indices. So yesterday we had a nice reversal. We were looking for moves to the downside. We had a nice downside move there on the DAX. Nasdaq, same sort of thing on the S&P and the Dow. Not quite as strong on the Dow. So we're kind of inside bar at the moment. We're going into a little bit of an accumulation phase here. So I'll be looking for probably downward movement today to start off with. But we will see what happens there. I've just changed the magic number on that, haven't I? So it's not going to report what profit I've got on that. I've got break-even stop loss on it. Do I want to take one off? Should I take one off? Let's leave it. I might get a lucky trade at the open. Might as well leave it running. But I'm going to have to manually close it because that's running on a different magic number to the one I've just changed it to. I took that on my tablet this morning. So yeah, S&P and a little bit of a down day on the FTSE. But obviously we had this massive push. So I would expect a bit more of a drop today on all of these. We've had a little bit of a push down this morning and pushed back up again. So we'll see where we go today. But I'll be looking for moves to the downside, I think, on these. All right. So going to trade the DAX and the Dow. Stopped out. Bet that thing absolutely collapses now. So going to watch the FTSE and the DAX at the open. We've got an ADR hit on the US dollar yen as well. Yeah, that yen's been very, very weak. Right. So just testing new highs on the FTSE. Quite a nice tight opening range on the DAX this morning. Okay, DAX is pushing higher. Morning, Mark. My moving average look like a remote viewing drawing. Not quite sure what that one means, but Just take these old fibs off. And these old levels. So we've got a few highs potentially if we are going to push up today to aim for. Okay, we're getting decent rejection at the highs. It's 5 minute range in. Fairly decent range this morning. Just hovering over the sell button. Just looking at this this down move that we've had. Just seeing if potentially we're going to drop this morning. FTSE's got new highs. Okay, broke of the opening range high. I'm going long. So if we're going long this morning, first target's up there. Obviously got double top potential there as well. Bit of a slow open this morning. Few extended yen pairs for potential reversals this morning as well. CAD yen, nicely extended, just starting to roll over now. Swiss yen, same thing, just about to get a reversal alert. US dollar yen seems to be holding up. It's nicely embedded on M15 though. Nice drop. Potentially back down to there. Few hourlies and a few 4 hourlies now as well. So a few things setting up. Yeah, US dollar yen, nice, really nice strong push we've had on that. We're up to ADR already, so depends whether or not we get any yen strength coming through. It won't take much to get that pull back to 116.300-ish. Very nicely extended on the hourly, nicely extended on the 4 hourly. 15-minute embedded. It's ready for a drop. It's just when. So reversal alert's pretty tight on it as well. So it's nice looking setup. Not the most exciting open in the world, is it, this morning? What's the others up to? S&P's looking like it's reversing. Nice indecision candle there. Potential long. FTSE's off now. Wow. A little bit different to yesterday's open, isn't it? Absolutely screamed off at the open yesterday. Just took off. We had 4 bull candles really quick out of the gates, didn't we? Mind you, it's potentially doing the same thing. We may get another update. And then a down day. Bit of rejection on the on the FTSE. Wow, this is slow. Okay, let's have a look at something else. This is taking forever this morning. Triple top, US dollar yen on the daily chart. Let's have a look at that. That's much more exciting. Triple top. Where's that? No triple top on the US dollar yen. We smashed through the double top. That's off. Very, very nicely extended though. That's a massive move already this morning to be putting in this early in the day. Let's have a quick look at the Dixie, what the Dixie's up to. Yeah, big strong move on the US dollar at the open. So, which is why I would kind of expect indices to be a little bit weaker than they are this morning, which is what kind of worries me about this trade. We've had a big push up on the indices, and I would expect with the US dollar strength, we would see, yeah, we're seeing a little bit of weakness across the US indices. The DAX and the FTSE though, doesn't feel very strong though, does it? I mean, we've got 4 bullish candles, but it's not looking particularly strong. We're just coming up to yesterday's high. I'm not too sure about this long this morning here. The indices feel weak. The US dollar indices feel weak. We've got every up candle's putting in big wicks at the minute. This feels heavy. Feels like it wants to drop. Closing that out. Oh, we've got nice tweezer tops there. Nearly. And I'm just a bit worried about this rejection up here. I was shorting it basically on the back of the fact that we just broke market structure pre-market. We had big bearish engulfing, so we had a really big sell move. Obviously down to the 20 where you would expect obviously it to bounce. But the fact that we've pushed up so hard so far this morning on the DAX, I just don't think there's a lot of upside this morning. I think we're more likely to drop. A bit difficult one to read this morning. Yeah, S&P's coming down. S&P. FTSE's coming down. I'm going short. Hello, short. Hello, buttons. You're not working. There we go. I was clicking on that line. Need to do something about that. I need these being in the foreground, really, don't I? Yeah, going short. FTSE's rolling over. This is all. It all felt a little bit heavy up there. So let's see if we can get an opening range low break. What I might do is just add on a break of that low if we get a break of that low. Right, that's moving now. So just bring my Stop loss down a bit, just above those highs. Right, let's have a look at other stuff then. While that's now playing out. Do I want to take another sell? Yeah, I'm going to wait, give that a bit of time to play out. Right, so ADRs today. US dollar yen, obviously, is very nice. We just looked at this one a little bit. Very nicely set up. Big, strong daily candle already put in. This is obviously a very big candle. But if you look at the average candle for the US dollar, we've done it already. So it's massively extended. Not quite sure why. I can't see any news to say that the US dollar should be pumping quite so hard. We've got no news catalyst today where they would be pushing to manipulate it to a level to drop it. So potentially this looks like a breakout, obviously at the moment, but 80% of breakouts fail. So this is probably a good mean reversion option this morning. We're very nicely extended across the 4-hour RSI. We're just about to hit 125 ADR. Hourly, massively extended. M15, massively extended and embedded. And we have been embedded literally all morning since the middle of the Asian session. So big, strong push there. We'll be looking for a pullback down to support, which is the breakout level. At some point, quite when it's going to happen, don't know, but I would be poised on that one for a short if you're trading Forex at the minute. If you want to get into a position, it is counter trend. Obviously, US dollar is a long. The yen. This is basically off of the back of yen weakness we've got at the moment. So, but a couple of the other yens are likely to get close to ADRs today as well if we see some continued weakness. So the Dixie is obviously having a good morning. The yen is incredibly weak. So hence obviously that movement. This should obviously, as I say, that's why I was a bit cautious on that DAX trade, because obviously with the US dollar being so strong, you would expect the indices to be dropping, which they now are. So yeah. RSIs, start with the 4 hours. So Euro Pound is the first one. That's just coming out of an RSI extension. We just popped up into it again this morning, but this was obviously from yesterday. So the trade was triggered sort of on Tuesday, is that? What's the day? Friday. 3, 4, Wednesday. So Wednesday you got the signal to go short. You got it in short somewhere around there, so you're in profit on the trade, but nothing particularly dramatic at the moment. But very nice rejection and liquidity run of those highs, and we're putting in if you ignore that wick, a beautiful M pattern reversal potentially. Or if you want to look at this on a lower time frame, you'll see a nice head and shoulders there. Probably M15. So we're looking for a break of this support. We've had the reversal alert, so break of this support here, which will be a break on, I would imagine, on the hourly. Yeah. So break on the hourly, and then shooting down. So it looks like a nice little short there on Euro Pound. Obviously Euro is a short. Pound is meant to be long, but it's really horribly weak at the minute. But yeah, obviously much more short on the euro than you would be on the pound. So that's all starting to come down nicely this morning. All these other euros that we have been looking for setups short on, they're all doing nicely. So any of these that you took shorts, sort of anywhere from where we got extended, they're all playing out nicely. Looking for potential support there on that one. Euro CAD's already massively broken down. Euro odd has broken down nicely as well. So they're all coming down nicely. If you got into any of these, anybody get into any of these euros? So yeah, all good on the euros. Nice reverse alerts and retests all over the place on them. Pound CAD, massively extended to the downside. Not really sure on the pound at the minute. Pound is very difficult. It looked like it was going to do a liquidity run double bottom, but we've done another leg. So there is potential here that I think, which is more likely, we're putting in a stop hunt W pattern. So basically, they've brought the market down. They've taken out the liquidity of everybody that started playing this reversal, this market structure break long. Anybody that hasn't got out, usually targeting highs, got caught out on that. So all the buyers were trapped. They've come down, taken all that liquidity. They've pushed up again. Everybody's gone, oh, look, we're going long this morning. They've come down and grabbed their money. Textbook move back up into propulsion gap. So that looks like a nice long, but I'm worried about the pound at the moment. It's very, very, very weak, and it's being dragged down by the euro. So it's going to take quite a lot for the pound to get some positive movement, I think. But look at, obviously, the V-shaped recovery we had on that move. I would imagine we're going to get something very, very similar, but I don't think we're going to break highs. Pound's too weak at the minute. So that looks like a nice long. It's with the trend. Well, with the normal expected COP bias, but obviously the current trend on the pound is very much down. So it's counter trend. It's in line with COP bias trend, but I mean it's a massive sell-off. So they'll be buying that back up. So US dollar CAD looks like a nice long. Pound US dollar, same sort of thing there, but US dollar strength. I wouldn't be trying to take longs on this one at the minute. Long the dollar. So if you do take these counter trend, you run the risk of getting quite embedded down there, or at least into an accumulation you can't get out of while the moving averages pop down and push down for another leg. So don't like the look of that one particularly, but up to you if you want to take it counter trend. It did start to move up this morning, and obviously with the US dollar strength we've got this morning, it's pushing back down again. New Zealand dollar yen. So this is one of the other yens. New Zealand dollar is a long, as we can see. It's been reacting very nicely. We did get a pullback off of the 4-hour extension. So look at that sort of movement again as a pullback. Look for that level there, or a pullback into this gap, and then potentially continuation. The yen really has not done well out of this conflict. Normally we would expect to see a good amount of movement on the yen with people moving into safe havens, but they're just not doing it. So I'm just going to quickly check up on my just got stopped out on that. Got trailing stop on it. Just got stopped out with a small profit on that. Don't like this. Very tricky this morning. Market's very not sure. So I might just get into another one. Short. Just pushing up at the minute. Going short again. So we've pulled back up into this propulsion gap. Obviously bearish engulfing, biggest bearish engulfing, engulfed by probably 6 times to 1. So very, very strong move on that. I might just put, we got a lot of volatility, a lot of big candles today. So I might just stick a larger trailer on this. Maybe even 8 actually. I was just looking to see if I could add into the position basically, and just got stopped out of it. So basically, obviously we've got high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Looking for a lower low now. Coming back down into this propulsion area there. So that's kind of the play. It's a bit annoying we got stopped out of it. I'm going to go with a sell stop under the low as well. So getting into a second position. down there as we start to break down below those lows. And might even take another one on that sell stop under that last candle as well, just to scale into the position. By the time we get down to here though, I'll probably start taking the top one off and move a break-even average on it just to bank some profit. Looks nicely bearish though. So H4s, yeah, where were we? New Zealand dollar yen, I think. Yeah. So yeah, nicely extended. We're just coming up into a propulsion gap up there. Yeah, no, that's done. Well, it's not done. Whenever you see a big propulsion move that doesn't make a new low, these zones are less reliable. So what I'm looking for with a propulsion gap is an accumulation and then a drop, and that is where the propulsion gap is after the accumulation. This one here, you've got this accumulation here, and then you've got a propulsion gap put in, didn't break that low, and then accumulated again and then pushed down. So this is more of just part of a trend, isn't it, really? So I'm just watching the DAX on my other chart. Let me just switch over to M5 on my other platform. 1 second. Just want to keep an eye on this. It didn't close bearish, that candle. So I'm flitting around this morning, but I'm just a bit not too sure on this market this morning. We had this big strong push up. We've also just pulled the move back to the 50, which is what I'm worried about. But I'd like to see it get down a little bit deeper than that, but we'll see. I'm just keeping an eye on that on my other machine. Right. So yeah, New Zealand dollar yen looks good. Good for a short. It's rejecting out of there at the minute, but that's not obviously the reason for the trade. It would be just basically the fact that it's massively extended. So looking for somewhere in the region of 90 pip pullback from the highs, which takes you back down into this propulsion area there. US dollar Swiss. Yeah, not particularly great. I mean, we want to be longing the US dollar. So we've had this big this breakout of these highs, which kind of was really messy, and it's still very messy. It's just not very smooth at all. This is either going to collapse on some Swiss franc strength, and we're going to get a pullback into this area and just stay in a wide accumulation, or it's going to go. But we've got some really good, strong US dollar movement, but this just not moving, this one. So a bit of a tricky one. I wouldn't want to long it just because it's just got extended on the RSI. I'd rather wait for some decent movement to the upside to get up into these highs, and then look for some potential bounces somewhere up around these highs. Anywhere around there, really. That zone for a potential pullback on it. So not a great trade at the minute, I don't think. And US dollar yen obviously still going, still up there. So the indices have really slowed. Just not sure about this candle, whether this is a pullback or whether this is new trend start. So what's the opening range high? 13,505. Just toying with the idea of moving my stop on this, but seems a bit of selling pressure coming in now. Okay, so 4 hours done. Euro pound best of the bunch at the minute, which is just starting to roll over. Pound CAD probably the next best thing. We've got Canadian dollar news this afternoon, obviously. So if the CAD news comes out weak, we'll get that push up into there, which will be nice. So you've got potential manipulation on the CAD this afternoon, which will help you out with that trade. If that CAD comes out as positive and it pushes the pound down, obviously you're just going to get more extended, which means you're more likely to get that pop back up into there. So add into an additional position. Hourlies. We've got quite a few hourlies as well, mainly yen based this morning. Aussie dollar yen already starting to pull off the highs. Sorry, flicking back to the DAX. Cool. Yeah, looks good. So basically the sellers basically have stepped back in at the moment. So we'll see if we can get a break of those lows. I'm just going to move that down. I don't want to double bottom it. So I'm just going to move that down a little bit below that low. Just in case we sort of wick test the low and then sit there and go sideways. So the hourlies, US dollar yen, Aussie dollar yen already starting to play out. We've broken above those highs. Nice break of the highs, nice market structure. We've pushed up into new highs, so we are due a pullback. This might be a little bit soon to be getting into a pullback on it, but it's certainly rolling over at the moment. 5 minutes, just had a reversal alert on M5. And it's retested as well, so coming down. Watch this level, watch that level, but there's plenty of gaps to the downside to aim for bounce points. Yen strength is really what we're looking for at the minute, to push all these down, which looks like what we're getting at the moment. CAD yen, same thing. Whoops, CAD Swiss. CAD yen is just starting to move as well. So hourly, we've got nice rejection on the highs, both hourly candlesticks at the moment, long wicks. So it looks like we're getting some yen strength coming through. So those are good entries. We've got a nice M pattern forming. And reversal alert with a couple of really nice targets to the downside, and a couple of support levels as well to look out for. So all this move here, no real support there. You've got a bit of a gap there, but I would say probably back down into here at some point today. So I'm just keeping my eye on these this DAX. Something is market's very, very uncharacteristically quiet this morning. Really low volumes coming in with that big propulsion move that we got is just a little bit worrying because it's we're kind of flagging in it at the minute. But I would have expected this to, done something by now, and it hasn't. Bit close, a bit sort of slow and lethargic this morning. So can't quite make its mind up what it wants to do, can it? Up at these highs. Carrying on. So CAD yen looking good. Swiss yen, nice extension. Still pushing up at the moment. We've basically got very nice market structure on this at the moment. Waiting for some yen strength to come through. We've got a slightly strong Swiss by the looks of things on the other pairs this morning. That's only just got extended on the hourly, so I'll probably be looking for it to get a little bit stronger before looking for a reversal on it. But obviously if we do get some yen strength coming through, it's all going to start to collapse. Pound CAD, nicely extended on the hourly. We know about this one. We've looked at this one on the 4 hour as well. So just taking out the lows, looking for a nice W reversal. But as I say, this one's a bit tricky. Canadian dollar news obviously is hopefully what we will get a movement on that one for this afternoon. But the pound is very, very weak. So we're going to need a weak CAD. A strong CAD. No, sorry, that's a weak CAD. Get it right. To push this one back up. Because I don't think we've got an awful lot of strength sitting anywhere on the pound at the moment. New Zealand dollar yen, same thing as the Aussie dollar yen, starting to roll over very, very nicely. The Australasian pairs seem to be getting hammered very well, and so is US dollar yen. Very, very, very extended. Drop down to M5. Reversal alert entry. If we get another push up here, above the 125 ADR, you're going to have a reversal alert sitting up there, which would be a lovely, if you did want to use a stop, lovely tight entry for a potential drop on that. But US dollar at the moment doesn't look like it wants to give up. Still pushing up very, very nicely, which is what's worrying me, because we're not seeing that happening in the indices. Something's out of whack this morning. Just odd market. It's very quiet. Don't like it when it's quiet. It means something's coming. Not quite sure what. US dollar Swiss ready to blast resistance. There was 125 ADR on US dollar yen, I think that was. Yeah. Yeah, US dollar Swiss is pushing up again. DAX is almost like the DAX is just stopped moving. It's really, 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 really lethargic. So is the S&P. Let's see what the FTSE's doing. Yeah, we're stuck. Anyway, yes, the US dollar Swiss. You say Franco's saying ready to blast higher. We are breaking out the highs at the moment. It's just very, very hard, isn't it? It's just really struggling to get higher at the moment. Mainly because we've got no money flowing into the Swiss. Normally the Swissy would be pumping in and out a lot with money, and we've not got any of that happening. None of that's happening to the yen, none of it's happening to the Swiss at the moment. So the US dollar is reliant on its own power basically to move. I think we're coming up to these levels before we'll do a reversal or a pullback, just because we've been gradually making new highs, but you can kind of trade this one in any direction on lower time frames at the minute. Just challenging the opening range high again. Yeah, I mean, this 93 to, I mean, there's so many levels up here. The trouble with the US, with the Swiss franc is notoriously wicky. So it's really hard to pick levels on the Swiss franc, because there's always, whenever you get to any highs, there's always so many wicks. Most other instruments, you get to a low and you move and you have a really easy level, and you can sort of draw in, roughly around there. With the Swissy, there's so many wicks all the time on it. It's a horrible wicky pair. It always has been. So anywhere up there, sort of between that level and that level, you could find a rejection. So, if you get a decent price action move off of there, you could get an entry in there. You could take a second, third or fourth there, obviously with very, very small position sizing. One of them is likely to push to create the pullback, but the pullbacks are very short on it at the minute as well. All these moves have been caused by war announcements. We haven't had any war announcements, hence why we're sitting like this at the moment. The last 2 days we've not had any news. Nothing's changed, is it? More sanctions. So what? He doesn't care about sanctions. It's just not moving much. And obviously the DAX is reflecting that this morning as well. I'm just curious as to why we had all this initial sort of movement. Doesn't seem right this morning. Seems like he's ill. Same with the FTSE. FTSE hasn't come up and done this propulsion gap yet, so it's got a little bit of room. DAX definitely has. Might be a bit of a choppy one today. So this is the start of that move down on the 1 minute chart. That's just dropping down to have a look at where that move started, which is it was there. So this is the accumulation before the drop. So this is where I'd expect to see some selling pressure start to come in, but I want to see this go now. The sellers actually step on the gas and pump it down. Otherwise, we're probably going to grind up to the highs. It's just very odd. Price action is really odd this morning. We'll see. This is going to go in a minute. It's going to suddenly, you're going to get a big like boom, and then it'll start one way or the other. It's just really lethargic. I'm just going to keep that on the 1 minute. So monitor the FTSE on the 1 minute as well. Horrible. Whippy. I would consider buying pound CAD around 166. Oh, you don't want to use 666. That's bad. 666. I got a person at the spinning, my spinning, when I go spinning in the mornings and evenings. There's a woman there who won't go on the bike 13. She's superstitious. We haven't got a bike 66, but I'm sure she wouldn't go on that one either. So yeah, I've got a level drawn in down here. I'm not quite sure why I've got it drawn in there. That might be a daily level. No, not quite sure what that level is, but might be from another chart. But 166, 400 is potential support, and we've got obviously the move off of there as well, which we're tapping into now. So yeah, anywhere in this zone potentially is a good move. It's very, very, very extended. You know, we've had a very decent drop. This is nicest propulsion move. We are going to come back and fill this propulsion move at some point, but it's whether or not it's a fast one and then a drop, or you know, at the moment it's just impossible to tell what's going on with anything long term, or when things are going to do things. It's just if we get a bearish candle off the back of here, I might do the cardinal sin of adding to a loser while I'm scalping. But with a very, very tight, I'll get in with normal position size, but I'll move my stop down. So I'm just putting on like 0.2% risk or something on it. Just because if this is either the point of no return or not, these highs here, we're either going to break these levels and we're off and it's wrong, or this is where we're going to get that move starting from, which I want to capitalize on. Okay, so that's a double top. Okay, again the sell stop under that low. Nice tight stop on it. If it triggers. I was wondering why my pending orders were so tight on the candles. I haven't got any padding on them. FTSE's not managed to get, so we've got quite a bit of divergence at the open here. FTSE's not managed to make new highs, whereas the DAX is. So this feels really weak, this market today. It's just the DAX is somehow managing to push everything else. US dollar yen's just hit 150. Oh, that's weekly. I was going to say 150 ADR. That's a big push. We're pushing out the highs. I'm going to stop out on these. I was trying to push out the highs anyway. You see how sideways we are. We've got reversal alert followed by a reversal alert. Retest. It's just horrible. US dollar yen's extending towards 150 ADR. Yeah. Big strong. This is the thing. It's we've got really strong US dollar. And yet we're getting strength coming into the stocks as well, which is unusual. There's obviously something DAX-wise. Something's pumped. There's one of the DAX stocks is pumping for some reason. By the looks of things, obviously against the rest. So we're rejecting that double top at the minute. So this is our third attempt to get through that double top. Just waiting to see if we break these lows. We failed to make a new high there. So I'm just looking to see if we can break down on this flag. There we go. Okay, taking a sell there. I'm just cancelling that pending off. So taking that second entry. I'm going to keep a tight stop on it though. If this pumps out of there, I'm off. But we have made new low now. So we're starting to roll. Really stuck. S&P's coming down nicely. Dow's rolling over. So is the DAX. The Nasdaq. So starting bearish. The dollar's not really gone anywhere. Euro odd. Well, Euro odd, what happened? What do you mean what happened? There's nothing much happening at the minute. Where is my euro? Oh no, sorry, it's Aussie. Euro odd. Euro New Zealand. Not really doing anything. Quiet. No, look at this first session. Wow. Okay, we've got that double top. Looks like that's moving nicely now. So got those two positions on. See if we can get a continuation down and then pull back and drop on that. That'll be the trade for the morning if that works out. Franco getting sorry, Harry. Yeah, don't worry. I mean, if you get in, if you're playing this short, this US dollar yen, what'd you get? 125, 116, 820. Yeah, somewhere around that. So yeah, I mean it's still pushing up. So just take the next reversal on it. But you know we are long US dollar. So we want some yen strength to come through basically. We've got the other yens all starting to roll over. So there is some yen strength. There was some yen strength coming through. Yeah, there is some yen strength. It's the Aussies that are weak at the minute. But the market's very odd this morning. Okay, so looking for new lows now. Something ain't right. Strength coming through on the all indices. I love people. Got some bloke on Facebook messaging me. Do you trade market structure? What's my name? Different names are. Right. Wow, look at that gap. What happened there? There's no volume in the market this morning at all. That was a volume gap, basically. This is odd. Really odd this morning. It's like the world's gone to sleep. Was that... What happened there? Is that my chart? Oh, this is weird. Something's not right, is it? Volume's picking up a bit. Yeah, I haven't got my futures platform open. I can't actually see what the volume is, but USWM pushing 150. Wow. Enough to send you to sleep, isn't it? This is scalping. Imagine what you're doing if you're trying to swing trade. Haven't gone anywhere. Trying to push up again. God, you can't even scalp the 1 minute charts at the minute. I think what I'm going to do is, obviously, I'm not. If this trade doesn't play out this morning, I don't think I'm going to take any more trades this morning because unless you're scalping on the 1 minute and you're trying to catch like a couple of minute candles, I don't think you've got much hope this morning. We're just going to literally sit within this tight London range. This is the sort of price action I would expect to see on an FX pair ahead of news. We haven't got any news apart from the CAD this afternoon, which is only unemployment. So I'm not quite sure why we're so slow this morning, but everybody's obviously just still asleep. So can't really do a lot until the volume picks up and we get some movement. So with this trade that I've got on at the minute, I'm literally looking for a pullback. Just sort of, I think probably just down to the lows now. I was looking for a pullback to sort of 61.8 retracement and down to here, and potentially a short today. But we've obviously just pushed out the highs and we're struggling. There's more resistance coming up. This is the gap, which we're kind of mucking about in at the moment. So if we break to the highs, obviously we probably come up to yesterday's high and look for a bounce up there. But it's too painful at the minute. But I've got about 0.7% on it. So I was looking about 2 hours window. Yeah, it's just first kind of hour and a half. You obviously usually get a load of volatility, but we've had one move which has just been undone. Literally, we've had one dump and it's just undone it. So you either caught a short up there or you caught a long down there. Otherwise, you haven't really done a lot. Projecting the highs again. We have just made a new high there. So that's now high of the day by literally 1. Now we're pulling off the highs again. So M pattern forming. So reversal will be off of that candle there. So looking for a break of that low. And then potentially we might start a pullback, but it's going to take all morning at this rate. Wow, look at that. Right, I'm not going to sit through this all morning. So that's all I'm going to trade this morning. Unless we get unless it suddenly picks up and we get a flurry, in which case if I'm going to take anything else, I'll pop it in the Telegram group. But this is just hideous this morning. Kind of makes you want to trade tick charts. Can't go down any more granular than 1 minute and try and get some entries. Maybe we should put a stochastic on here and start trading stochastic swings. I don't quite know what to do in this situation. It's just dead. Good old stochastics. There you go. So take that cross there, short for 3 candles. Take that cross there. Nice little long. Take that cross there, nice little short. Yeah. And then you just wait until it gets embedded like that at the bottom and does that while the market collapses, and you just get chopped out for about 1,000 longs. Everybody's tried stochastic trading. Everybody eventually comes to the conclusion it doesn't work. Yeah, just sideways. Well, I'm going to call it a day there because it's not moving. So unless we get any movement in the next sort of half an hour, I would call this the high of the day, or wherever we get to. I mean, if we grind up, which we have, and now I'm out. So let's go. I'm out. So I'm flat. I'm not going to trade it anymore today. So wherever we get to in the next half an hour, I'm going to call that high of day and be looking for shorts. We've put in some decent size on the daily. So I would be looking basically after this for some kind of continuation move down. So if we can push up in the next half an hour, I'll probably start looking for short opportunities and try to mean revert it, but tough morning. See if anything else is moving. So we've just got US dollar yen still. That one's still trying to get higher. Again, it's struggling. Market's really, really sluggish this morning. Really sluggish. I got a feeling potentially we might be seeing a new kind of trading pattern evolving where people are not willing to enter positions on Fridays because they don't want to hold over weekends. And I mean institutions not entering to big new positions on Fridays because we run the risk of something catastrophic happening over a weekend at the moment when you can't react to the markets and getting stuffed. So it may be that we're just sort of going to see Friday slow down a bit. I don't know. Just seems really, really weird to see the indices sort of behaving like that. In line with the Dixie. So very odd. Dow's up as well. US dollar yen's just hit 150. There we go. So very extended on the US dollar now. We've got hourly candles just closed. Obviously, we're now above 80. Looking at the hourly RSIs. Oh no, didn't quite get there. We are now. So if this closes above 150, we're going to be extended, which is very nice for reversion. So that's a nice looking trade on that at the minute. And yet the indices are still pushing higher. Weird. Okay, keep an eye on those. Yeah, I'm going to be looking for short opportunities on the DAX, I think. But I want to see some price action first. I don't really want to get involved in this until we get some decent movement coming in. All seems very sluggish this morning. So be aware of news this afternoon, 1:30. We've got CAD, unemployment. So we're going to get some movement on your CAD. So if you're taking that pound CAD long, obviously just be aware of that. You may be getting your exit at 1:30 this afternoon or after 1:30 this afternoon. Other than that, no other news to watch out for today, but obviously keep your eyes peeled on just general news. So if you see any big movements in the market, obviously just have a look and see what's caused those. See whether it's fundamental or whether it's some kind of knee-jerk reaction, which it tends to be at the minute. And I'll be looking for short opportunities on there. I'll post in the Telegram group if there's anything exciting coming up. But I'm going to look at mean reversion again on Monday. So I'm going to see what happens over the weekend with the war, and then I'm going to maybe look to start getting into some position trading again back from Monday. Now we've had that initial bulk of movement off of the back of the war, which isn't a war apparently. I think we might see some normal market structure starting to reform. So the problem at the moment is obviously directional bias is very difficult to read. So I think at the minute I'm looking longs US dollar, but everything else with a short bias or no bias, really neutral. So I might pick some pairs to position trade with starting again from next week because I need to get some money in the bank basically as well. So that's the plan. But obviously I want to see what happens over the weekend. If this continues to escalate and we suddenly, get NATO saying, if he doesn't stop this, we're going to have to intervene, then I'll probably still sit on the sidelines because we need some stability really in the market. So, right, I'll leave it there. Anything else you need, let me know. I'll be in the Telegram group. And back this afternoon at 2:00 after the CAD news. We'll see what's happening with the markets and see if we can squeeze something out of the New York session this afternoon. But yeah, keep an eye on these indices. Might watch a bounce at the highs. I might take a FTSE short if we get some bearish price action off of there. Swiss yen's just hit ADR as well. Just before I go. So very weak yen, or is that a strong Swissy? Let's have a look. Yeah, this is weak yen at the moment, by the looks of things. So Swissy. ADR hit to the high. Again, no directional bias on this. At some point it's going to pull back. So looking up at these highs, so enter up there, get out on a pullback. So another opportunity there, Swiss yen for a short. The indices are still off to the races at the moment. All right, so I'll leave it there. Anything you need, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you this afternoon at 2:00. Have a good morning.